Hello you dirty dogs and welcome back to One on One, the most in-depth football show on YouTube. Today we're talking about three players who have, past or present, struggled to adapt to life in the top flight of English football, but are now crushing it at Euro 2020. If you think I picked this topic to mainly talk about Memphis Depay, you'd be absolutely correct. Full disclosure, the third entry, very cheeky, but I think I justified it okay. Anyway, let's crack on. Actually, wait. Before we get going, I'm setting a likes target of 2,000. If you don't hit it, it's going to be a top 10 next week. That's right, I'm threatening you. Memphis Depay. As we all know by now, Memphis Depay has joined Barcelona on a free transfer, linking up with Ronald Koeman, who made him the centrepiece of his Dutch national side, so chances are he's going to play a key part for the Blaugrana moving forward, at least until Koeman gets fired. This marks an extremely credible turnaround for a guy who was deemed surplus to requirements in 2016. So, where did it all go wrong at Manchester United? Let's rewind that clock and find out. In 2015, Manchester United paid roughly £30 million for a then 21-year-old Memphis Depay. He'd actually finished top goal scorer in the Eredivisie the season before on 22 strikes, leading PSV to their first title since 2008. When he joined the Red Devils, he did so on a 4-year deal, but the Dutchman only saw out one of them, starting just 16 games in his first full season, scoring twice. Of course, it didn't help that the man that brought him to the club, Louis van Gaal, was sacked in May of 2016. He was replaced by that famous nurturer of young talent, Jose Mourinho, who deemed him surplus to requirements the season after. And just to make that crystal clear, Jose Mourinho left him out of his Europa League squad. To be fair to the Portuguese, Depay seemingly wanted out also, recently telling L'Équipe that he'd lost all of his joy whilst at Manchester United. But was he as bad as his terrible output suggested? Well, you know we like to dig a little bit deeper on this show, so let's have a look at those underlying numbers. You may find this somewhat surprising, but he ranked first for shots per 90, shots on target, fouls won, and was second for successful dribbles. On the flip side, his creative numbers were pretty poor, ranking 6th in the squad for key passes on 0.7 per 90, not ideal when you're being deployed at number 10 or on the left wing, and should have done a lot better at converting his chances, only putting 2 away in the Premier League from an XG of 5. You have to remember that Manchester United were awful as an attacking proposition that season. In fact, they only scored 49 league goals in the 2015-16 campaign, their lowest total since the early 90s. A 19-year-old Anthony Martial was the only player that made it into double digits for goals that season. Even then, he outperformed his XG by 4. All of a sudden, Depay was behind Lingard, Mata, Mkhitaryan, Young, and the 17-year-old Marcus Rashford in the pecking order. That's a big old tumble from being the leading goal scorer in a title-winning side. It's not a decision that's aged particularly well, is it? Lingard's just returned from on loan. Mata hasn't put up double digits in terms of goal contributions since the season that Depay left. Mkhitaryan was eventually swapped. Young played the majority of his minutes at fullback, although I suppose it did help the progression of Rashford. Meanwhile, over in France, Depay put up 102 goal contributions in 115 starts. He also recovered in emphatic fashion from a cruciate injury in the 2019-20 campaign, racking up over 3,000 minutes in the 2021 season, which is the most of his career. And his form in France has carried seamlessly into the group stages of the Euros, scoring 2 and assisting 1 in his first 3 games. Per 90, he leads the side for shots, key passes and crosses. He also draws the most fouls and is second for dribbles behind the slaloming Frenkie de Jong. And the ball will need him to maintain this sort of output for the Netherlands to stand any chance of going any deeper in the competition. Despite featuring in one of the weaker groups, the Iranians still conceded 10 shots per 90, more than 10 other nations at the Euros. However, with Depay running the attack, they generated the 4th most shots, putting the 2nd most on target. The final game of the group stage against tournament minnows North Macedonia highlighted their strengths and weaknesses perfectly. Yes, they racked up an impressive 3.6 expected goals while playing some dynamite stuff up front, but they also shipped 13 shots and North Macedonia had 2 goals disallowed. Concerning, given they played 3 centre-backs and 2 deep-lying midfielders. Who Depay's partner will be in the latter stages of the tournament is still up for debate, with Wout Weghorst's physical presence preferred against higher caliber sides like Ukraine, while the more mobile Daniel Maligned impressed big time against North Macedonia. I'd probably go with Maligned, to be honest. Kid's created 4 big opportunities. He's only played 93 minutes. That's a record only bettered by Gareth Bale. Whether the Netherlands will come unstuck against a bigger side is still unclear. But what is crystal is that Memphis Depay has put his Manchester United demons to rest and has shown the rest of Europe just how bloody good he is. Danny Ward. Oh, Danny boy. Got pipes, mate. By the time this goes live, Danny Ward's Wales will be on the cusp of a mouth-watering tie against Kasper Schmeichel's Denmark. 2 Leicester goalkeepers and 2 very evenly matched sides. I think out of every player at the Euros, Danny Ward's stock has probably increased the most in the shortest space of time. To emphasise this point, the 28-year-old has made more appearances for Wales at Euro 2020 than he has done in the Premier League. And he's been in Premier League squads for 5 years. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. In fact, in his 12 seasons as a pro, he's only exceeded 5 league appearances twice. Once on loan at Aberdeen and once on loan at Huddersfield. So his lack of domestic football makes his performances in this competition all the more incredible, saving 4.3 shots per 90, which at the time of writing is the 3rd best return in the competition. His distribution has eluded him at times in this competition, with 13 inaccurate long balls per 90 only topped by Finland's Hradecki, although he's clearly been told to go long by Robert Page, with only 7 of his 30 passes per 90 qualifying as short. So in short, good shot stopper, mediocre with his feet. As such, can't see him displacing Kasper Schmeichel at club level anytime soon. However, there is a lot of middling Premier League sides who could use a new goalkeeper going 4th. For example, West Ham, Norwich and Crystal Palace all have goalkeepers over the age of 33. While at Wolves, Rui Patricio has been linked with a move to Roma. If Ward wants to be remembered as a Premier League goalkeeper, the time to move is now. Where should he go? Let me know in the comments. Victor Lindelof. Yes, I was struggling for a 3rd option, but I thought I'd include Victor Lindelof off the back of 1, how much flack he gets, and 2, the incessant Raphael Varane rumours that have been percolating this summer. And if it's not the Frenchman, it's Sergio Ramos. And if it's not Ramos, it's Kouande of Sevilla. And if it's not Kouande, it's Koulibaly. I mean, this headline pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? Despite clocking up 97 appearances in his last 3 seasons, the Swede always seems to be on the cusp of being replaced at Manchester United. And yes, bringing in another starter would make Manchester United stronger, but it also insinuates that Lindelof is not of starting quality, something that his numbers at the Euros are disputing. Largely thanks to their defensive solidity, Sweden managed to top a group containing Spain, Poland and Slovakia. And Lindelof has played a huge part in this. In the opening 3 games of the tournament, he completed a monstrous 6.5 clearances per 90, bettered by only 3 players at Euro 2020. He's also completing a team-high amount of blocks and is yet to be dribbled past. Plus, as we've come to expect, he's been surgical with his distribution, maintaining a pass accuracy of 90% while topping Sweden's side for average passes per 90. And lest we forget, in terms of goals conceded, Manchester United had the 3rd best defence in the Premier League in the 2021 season. Pretty impressive when there's not an elite defensive midfielder in the side. So, my question to you, is Lindelof too readily dismissed as a player of starting quality at Manchester United? Or am I talking complete waffle? Let me know in the comments below. So guys, that was 3 Premier League rejects who are killing it at this season's Euros, and let's hope they keep killing it until they play England. What should I do next time round? Let me know on Twitter, Instagram, carrier pigeon. Like this video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and I'll catch you next time. Unless you don't hit the likes target, in which case, sayonara.